Hey everyone, and welcome to an impromptu coffee chat. Returning subscribers, you legendary, magnificent beasts. My voice cracks right at the beginning. Welcome to the video. Today we're talking about New World's unique opportunity to truly capitalize both on a hungry market for new games, but more or less hungry WoW refugees, those who have been playing WoW for a long period of time and have been tired and exhausted by the current state of the game. I'm not trying to bash on any games here. I'm just looking at the gaming economy from individual gamers and looking at what could possibly happen in this future and why I think it could actually work out in New World's favor if certain things actually get met, certain conditions. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Now, before I dive into the main subject, I do want to point you over to the community tab here. I am actually going to be streaming Monday and Tuesday, 8 a.m. to noon Central Time. Looks like Final Fantasy XIV is in the lead, followed by Outriders, Final Fantasy XI, and then Guild Wars 2. So if you guys want to come hang out on stream, we'll be talking video games, kind of like a radio show all day. Be sure to go check out the community tab. You can always use the command gpoll if you're live with us on Twitch at that time. So hopefully you come check out the stream. But beyond that self-promo, I really want to dive into New World and why I think it's really positioned well. Now, I would have preferred New World be out right now. I think out right now would have been the best possible choice for a release when there's not a lot of games, when people are really hungry for new games to play and enjoy. So let's shift into it. With 9.1, everybody kind of theorizing sometime between June and August. Personally speaking, I think the sooner the better. Assuming that 9.2 is going to be far off in the future as well, 9.1, no matter what, is going to invite players back into World of Warcraft. You just can't help it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being excited about a new game, a new update, a new raid. I think when we look at the complaints leveraged at Shadowlands, typically, I hear very positive, conversations around the dungeons and around the raids. In fact, I've just seen recent, videos from Preach and Bellular kind of talking and reacting to the Ian interview, and there's obviously lots of frustration. That, in my perspective, as a non-WoW player, continues to see this conversation of, yay, there's an update, or yay, there's an expansion, followed by, what the hell, Blizzard? And that's just my perception of the issue. But let's look at it. Let's look at the impact from a kind of a gaming psychological level, from an industry market level, so to speak. First and foremost, if you have 9.1 is going to invite players back to check out the new content they're hungry for, content that they honestly deserve, that they've been paying for. Bellular calls WoW a paid beta at this state, which is interesting in terms of how long the game has been running. And honestly, I can't speak to its accuracy. It feels accurate as a kind of a third-party observer. That being said, like I said, it's going to invite people back in. New World, no matter what's going to invite a lot of people in. There's going to be a lot of excitement. There's always that hype curve of that up and then that down, and then it kind of settles into its groove. And I released a video on this channel talking about the top 5 things New World needs to do to succeed in 2021 and 2022. But let's just look at it in terms of the WoW refugee for the duration of this video. The core of it, WoW players are going to be hungry after they've exhausted the content of 9.1. So if 9.1 can come out before New World, that gives the WoW players that ability to go dive into it. Then what you'll end up having is a situation where New World comes out, there's excitement, maybe there's some content droughts like we've already seen in WoW, inviting players to come check it out, and then followed by more content updates and just the general excitement. I could easily see a big shift in this for players that have long wanted something different, that have long been playing WoW. That's, again, the number of comments that I see generally are like, I really continue to play because my friends were there, or whatever reason that players find to continue to invest in a game. I don't want to go full sunk cost theory on that aspect, but they've not been as satisfied since Cataclysm, since any of the previous expansions. And thus, they could end up kind of just driving that as a way to have something new, to have something different, to have updated technology, updated visuals, a whole new world to explore, I guess for lack of a better term in this case. I'm like, the world. I wish they would have gone with Eternum as just something in their title, but it is what it is. So then essentially you could end up seeing, or the question that I am continuing to ask myself is like, is that going to be a place that WoW players can go find a new home in? The concept of a home-based MMO is something that I've been just toying around with. Like, what is your home-based MMO? And honestly, let me just ask that question to you. Sound off, let me know. Like, what would you consider your home-based MMO? Is it Final Fantasy? Is it World of Warcraft? Is it Guild Wars 2? Is it ESO? Is it EVE? Like, there are so many out there. I think a lot of people have where they got started and where they live. What's the one thing that they keep coming back to? So that, another side aside, driving into it, if New World can continue to hold on to those players, and if like between 9.1 and 9.2, we see the same issues arise within Shadowlands themselves, where you have a base that's hungry for content, and all of a sudden they see players being fed by another game that seems so far, based off of its current update schedule, to continue to provide content to gamers, to have a company that is in it for a win. Amazon absolutely needs a win in this case. They want to continue to invest in it. They keep talking about their 10-year plan, which, if you guys haven't seen, I don't really care for 10-year plans. You could tell me and promise me everything that, hey, we've got a 10-year plan. We have a roadmap. It's all about action. It's good to sit here and say, here's our roadmap, but then you execute on that. And as soon as we can establish that level of trust, then when you say that you're going to do something and then you execute on it, then I can say, hey, cool, what else do you have on your roadmap? But 10-year plans and roadmaps, I don't trust until somebody starts actually executing on it, because they're a lot harder than anything else. Anyhow, I think essentially when you look at with Asmongold and his frustration and having a connection with New World and having interviewed the devs and having played it, New World obviously needs to hit on its cylinders. New World needs to deliver a solid gameplay experience, and it needs to continue to deliver content. I think the key word for 2021 in games with myself is going to be content is king. If you deliver content, it doesn't necessarily always have to be the best. It doesn't even have to appeal to me all the time. But if it's something to talk about, if it's something to be excited about, I think ultimately you're going to see a game continue to march on that trajectory for sure. Sound off in the comments with that word if you made it to this part of the video. I don't know how to spell it. Good luck to you. So with that, I think that's why they're positioned for a really strong fall, so to speak. Now, anything can go wrong in this regard. Server issues can easily kill hype. Connection issues can easily just discourage people to go back and play something else. And New World, like we talked about in my previous video, is got a lot of competition, both with End of Dragons, Endwalker, probably other ending expansion names, for other games that I'm not necessarily following on a daily basis. So that is going to be what it is. And I'm not necessarily worried about those. I think the key market in my mind, the key gamer demographic in my mind, is that fatigued WoW player that doesn't necessarily connect into a story-driven MMO like Final Fantasy XIV, or doesn't necessarily find, Guild Wars 2 appealing for whatever reason. I couldn't relate to that individual because I find Guild Wars 2 to be an incredible experience. And that's where I think New World has the ability to capitalize and to continue to convert players over. Because they're not going up against an MMO that's 5 years old or 10, even 10 years old. WoW has been around for a long time. And in that time, decisions were made years ago that the devs have to account for today. So it's lost its agility. It's lost its ability to really turn around content. And I don't think we're going to see patches get faster unless for some reason something changes completely within the Blizzard architecture and ecosystem. And I think Bellular said it right. It's when you have to go and have all of these meetings, 10 meetings just to make a simple adjustment change, that in and of itself is, the game itself is strangling itself. Said itself too many times. We'll just go ahead and move on from there. So we'll ultimately wait and see. But generally the feeling that I'm getting from when I talk to my friends, when I talk to the community, when I see the comments, when I see the tweets, when I see the videos from other content creators, is that honestly, I think people are just excited for something new. And Ashes of Creation gets brought up in this conversation, but Ashes of Creation isn't coming out in 2021. And, I root for every game coming out. I want people to find games they love. That's going to always be at its core, but we'll have to wait and see. I just think really interesting things like New World, the team, the updates. They have a really unique opportunity, and if they can catch lightning in a bottle, it will be an interesting decade. The next 10 years we'll have to wait and see. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Love to know yours, whether you're following New World or you're casually following New World or you think it's just going to be a dumpster fire. I'd love to know your thoughts. Any and all welcome in the comments below. But anyway, guys, for Ginger Prime, my name is Brian. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in my next one. But until then, take care. This video is sponsored by me, Ginger Prime. Hopefully you'll check out my podcast channel, Ginger Gaming Radio, which we have lots of guests, lots of great conversations, and even more highlights. Links are in the description below. Let me know what you think. Thanks.